Hello, ladies and gentlefish. My name is Jasmine Samaniego.
I'm Kaavya Sundar.
I'm Jasmin Mejia. You can call me Jazz.
I'll move this pillow.
And I'm Natalie Ochoa.
So, this is our podcast. Our podcast is going to be on women's empowerment. We will be talking about a couple different topics that involve like women's empowerment, and we will be talking about like things that are going on that are like pushing down women and things that are happening that are helping women like fight back with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Positive words. Woo!
So this is something that it is geared toward women, but a lot of men can take a lot from this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really for anyone and everyone.
Any gender, any age, particularly around our age, I feel.
Particularly.
A lot younger people, but people who are involved in society, which is just about everyone. So.
Yeah. Well, very well put.
Yes.
So our first topic today is Malia Obama. Malia Obama?
Yeah, Malia.
Sorry, I always feel like I'm mispronouncing her name.
Okay.
And smoking weed.
No.
Oddly enough. Oh my god, not the
Whoa.
devil's
Whoa.
lettuce. So,
Whoa.
recently, she was caught smoking weed. Well, not caught. She was just recorded on a Snapchat or something. And she's been getting a lot of backlash from mostly just media sources. I'd say a lot more people are coming to her defense than judging her now, but the whole incident, the fact that it even made news, was very connected to racist and sexist ideologies, whereas, like, if, male, I almost said spouse, I mean child, of, like, a president was doing anything, like, considered, bad. I hate that, like, term for this stuff, but, they wouldn't, like, even turn their heads. Nothing would make the news. And it's just kind of odd that, she happens to be a woman of color, and now people are judging her, saying that she needs to set an example for other college kids, or, I don't know, that she's not being disciplined well enough. But, like, she made it to Harvard. She's there.
Wow.
I think she's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the bigger reasons that it was like it made like, okay, she's a woman of color. She's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the ex-president. Can we emphasize on the ex-president? Like,
yeah.
hello. So let her live her life. Like, she's no longer part of like the person that's running the country.
Mm-hmm.
So just get over it. Like let her be. Like, she's a college student. Like at our school here at UCSB, like smoking is like such a natural thing. If you go out on a Thursday night, you will see people in their front yards just smoking weed. Like
on a Monday, across the street from the police station, I will see the girls that live in that house just smoking weed out in the open, and nothing happens.
Yeah, so it's just the fact that it's her, like, because of like a lot of the backlash that her father got while he was in the presidency. It's like it's still going, and it's like you like get over it. Like he's no longer in presidency, and is she like what she does shouldn't affect everybody else. Like she's her own person, but it's because like she's at Harvard, so she's like at this prestigious school. She has to be this perfect person, but she's not, because nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like tailgating parties, like that's what she was at when another thing happened to her.
Right.
She was kissing some boy and like smoking what looked like a joint, according to one of the articles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you're gonna go out to DP here and see literally people snorting cocaine off of other body parts that I'm not gonna say, but it's like, why is she getting so much media attention, and like for something that's so normal for a lot of college kids? Like, not saying everyone does it, like it's just something so
prevalent in like college campuses in
It's an
general.
experimental thing too. It's like you're figuring out what you like to do.
It's not like she's throwing her life away by smoking weed. Like,
And
oh my god.
Yeah. I feel like just her position, like how well she was known, like she was supposed to be this like ideal, like president's daughter, very prim, proper, very respectful, right? And then now they're just seeing like, oh, this other side of her. And I see it in these photos too, and I can see like evidence in media bias. And I'm thinking back to that lecture that we had about seeing like how that Instagram and the Twitter like campaign where take a picture of like how society views you and then how you see yourself.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was, I definitely connected the two, and I think like the media is just portraying her in that kind of negative light just through these photos, even though it's normal, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's a college student. And then I really liked what you said, Jazz, about how she's the ex-president's daughter.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I just
Yeah.
like the only reason I brought that up was because like Trump's son, can do something, and it's like you don't see it all over the news. It's just
Right.
like, like boys will be boys,
Mhm.
but
Oh my God.
like and it's just like
It'll
oh,
never-
like,
it'll
yeah,
never see the
it's-
light of
it's-
day.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's never ending. Where it's like
Right.
women are just like thrown under the bus because it's like you're supposed to be like. So, like, women are just supposed to be the perfect thing, but it's like if
Yeah.
boys mess up, it's fine because
Boys
will be boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing that's really interesting to me on this topic is like how much of it really does have to do with her being the president's daughter, like specifically the daughter, because my mom talks about it all the time. Clinton's daughter, Chelsea, I think it is.
Mhm.
Everyone used to give her a whole bunch of crap. They were awful to her for being ugly. Everyone said that she was ugly. They were terrible to her. They used to bully her because of it, because she was always in the light. And they're like, man, how can she be the president's daughter? She's so ugly. And it's like, no one's talking about Eric Trump and how ugly he is. Like, no one's commenting on them. You know?
No one's commenting on their appearance because
Exactly.
there's no like
Stigma.
yeah
Right.
for how people should look. I know they have been like I know that one of his daughters, like Trump's daughters, was like compared to one of her like sisters and like, oh, she's the ugly sister. And it's like, why does that matter?
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter in any context,
Exactly.
but whatever.
Why is that even anything that's crossing anyone's mind? Because that's not what you should be judging them on.
Mhm.
it's just how social media is now. Like it's sad, but it's like social media will focus on whatever it wants to focus on and
Mhm.
makes whatever it wants the big things. And it's like
Right.
there's important things going on, but if social media doesn't think it's like a big thing or something like worth it, it won't see
Right.
it unless you
Yeah.
actually dig and do like research for it.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh yeah, Malia Obama smoking weed, like boom, trending. Sexual harassment is like going on right now. Is it trending? It took a while, but now it is.
Yeah. I'm like,
So-
how upsetting is that? Because it's like,
Like, it was so immediate with her.
yeah.
I think the
Why
next
is
day
that
we
what
saw
we're
that video
focusing on?
circulating on Twitter so much.
Yeah.
Right.
She's just blowing O's, man. She's having fun.
Does the media really have anything like any other like news to report on
Exactly.
that's more pressing
Yeah.
than
That's
this?
Like the
Just
bombings in
for sure.
Egypt or something.
Yeah.
Just an example.
Mhm. It's like there's so many other things that we could be focusing on, but
we're-
instead they're making us angry
Yeah.
over this poor girl who's just living her life right now and not even in the office anymore. Like, just because she
Yeah,
was
her
at
dad's
one
not
point.
even in charge of anything anymore.
Yeah.
He literally got called into doing jury
Jury
duty.
duty.
Really?
Yeah. I
And like,
remember.
yeah, and it's like she's just a normal human being,
Yeah.
and so is he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Kaavya, do you want to like talk more about like the sexual harassment thing
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
just brought up?
I wanted to talk about that. Yeah, so
sorry.
what
Oh,
we noticed, like ever since the Harvey Weinstein sexual harassment charges have been brought to light, we've seen this sort of trend about like creepy old bald white men just like coming into the light like about, and then these women are accusing them of sexual harassment. They're all very powerful men like Kevin Spacey from House of Cards, and then recently Matt Lauer. I don't know if you guys know what y'all know what Matt Lauer is.
Asterisk.
Asterisk.
Y'all.
Yeah. Matt Lauer is. He's a famous TV anchor on the Today Show, and he's been on there for 20 years, and he had so much power. He could literally tell like people like, oh, I lack chemistry with this co-host. I want her out. That's what he did to like one of the co-hosts before, and then she got replaced. And then
Ew.
Ann Curry.
Ew.
Yeah. Ew. Oh, you said ew,
I
right?
said
Or
ew.
who? Okay.
No, I
but-
said ew.
Yeah, so recently he was fired by NBC News for sexual harassment claims, and yeah, it's just crazy like how all of this, like, it's all coming out in like one by one. It's so strange, like people you wouldn't expect have done this. But I guess it's just that trend of, like, power.
Yeah.
And, like, even though he was a married man, he's a married man. He has kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are married or divorced or in some kind of relationship. Like, there's quite a few of them.
Gross.
Yeah.
I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Y'all's thoughts on that.
X. A really interesting part of this for me was looking up on New York Times, and they did an article about however many of the men that have been accused so far, and like their responses to what, like, the allegations and everything and the accusations and stuff, and 12 of them responded positively, saying, like, I'm sorry, like, I do admit to what happened, like, that I did it and it was wrong, like, I am seeking help. 3 of them had no response at all. 4 of them had, they didn't really take the blame for it, but they also didn't blame the woman for it. They weren't, it was very middle of the road. And then 14 of them said that everything was false, that it was completely untrue, that these women were blowing things out of proportion, and that everything that they were doing, this is, what's really interesting to me, that everything that they did to these women was all platonic. It wasn't, sexual at all. It was all very casual, oh, no, I didn't mean anything by it. I just hugged her. I just, kissed a few people on the cheek. I wasn't trying to sexually harass anyone, and these women are just blowing out of proportion. I didn't do anything. And they're actually going around and suing. Some of them are suing the people who have accused them.
That was, one of the ones that I was just kind of whoa, it brings down women because it's, this is something that's, going on a lot. A lot of women have gone through it. Yeah. And it's, the moment that they try to go and talk about it and, it's hey, I've been sexually harassed. And then they go and shut it down by, no, I'm going to sue you because I sexually harassed you, but...
For defamation.
Yeah.
So, ruining my reputation as my profession.
Yeah. Yeah, the reputation thing in class, in linguistics, we watched, we didn't watch, we heard an audio video
clip,
of Harvey Weinstein and a model, we're not sure who, but there's, a part in it where he's just, don't embarrass me or don't make me look bad, I come to this hotel a lot, or Malta, wherever they were, and that just was just, whoa, you're trying to sexually harass her, but your reputation is still important. That doesn't make sense. So it's just kind of that's one of the big things.
But I think, one positive thing out of all these, terrible things that have happened is just that it's definitely given women a voice to speak out, right? I was just thinking about in class how we heard that audio clip of Harvey Weinstein, and he said, I'm used to that, right? Mm-hmm. And then the model says, but I'm not used to that. Yeah. So that she's using her language to show resistance towards those, those ideologies that he is perpetuating, and he has. And I feel the one positive thing is just giving a lot of people to speak out and not be afraid.
Yeah,
sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, because back when it happened, because I know we talked about this, I talked about it with my family over break, and my sister was really upset because John Lasseter got accused of sexual assault. In case you don't know, John Lasseter is the major guy at Pixar. I think everyone loves Pixar.
Yeah.
My sister was upset about whether or not these things are false, she doesn't believe it, and then my grandma was asking why it took these women so long to come out with it, and I think that we've already touched upon it because it happened once. It's women feel comfortable enough to come out now, and they're going to be supported. Because back when it happened, this kind of movement was not even close to happening. Yeah. It's back when it happened, these men, these old, gross, white, bald, straight men are the people, are the people who are in power. It's those have always been the people that have been in power, especially in American society and American history. So it's these women were definitely lower in position in terms of jobs, and these men they have all the connections in terms of Hollywood. They have all of the say and their jobs and stuff. So of course they're not going to come out and say that something happened, because then that man can say, I'm going to make sure you never work here again.
Yeah.
Completely take away their job. And that's just interesting. I was going to say something. I was going to say.
Do you guys remember what happened with Taylor Swift? How she was sexually harassed at one of her meet and greets by some radio host who was, like, there for the event, like, before the concert or whatever. And it was her 2013 tour, but she just did it this year, and she sued him for $1 because all she wanted was to get justice for what had happened.
Yeah.
And I remember reading the statement from the guy who did this, and he was like, I didn't touch her, like, we just hugged, I was at a meet and greet, like, it's unprofessional if I did that, whatever, like, why would I do that, my wife was with me. And then there's pictures of that meet and greet, and Taylor Swift looks really uncomfortable, like, no matter how much people don't like her, you can't, like, deny that's like, a very common, like, thing to see, is if someone's uncomfortable, you can tell in their face.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, I think in the end she ended up winning the case.
Good.
But I don't remember, don't quote me on that. It's just, like, it's happening so much, and, like, she probably didn't feel comfortable enough to come out until this year about it because of this movement that's happening. So it's a very powerful thing to be happening, even though it is kind of, like, activism online, and, like, it's just, like, yeah, that picture.
Here's the photo.
Here's the photo.
Oh, let me just...
Things are making noises.
Yeah, here's the photo. I was curious to see, like...
should zoom in.
Yeah, you can see how
Oh, what the heck? Where is
his
his
hand on her
hand?
butt.
What? That's okay.
I didn't touch her.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Dude.
Wow.
That's another thing that's very interesting to me is all of these men, the 14 men and this other man, that are saying, like, oh, no, I didn't mean anything by it. It was all very casual. They're blowing it out of proportion. And it's like, what does that say about women in our society, that these men are able to do this and think that it's okay, especially because a lot of these women that had these things done to them didn't say anything. Because a lot of them were like, well, no one said anything. I didn't know that it was bad until just now. And now I'm realizing, oh, it must have hurt people. It's like, women are told in our society to be submissive. And just because woman isn't saying anything doesn't mean that they're okay with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
consent, guys. And, you know, of course they're not going to say anything because they're taught to be submissive. We're taught to be submissive. We're told not to speak up to authority, not to speak
Not to
our mind.
question men.
Exactly.
More so, yeah.
Exactly. And it's so gross. Like, what does that say about the fact that this is still happening now and that we're allowing these men to get away with being like, oh, I thought it was just casual, because women are too afraid to say anything because they're taught to be too afraid to say anything. We're taught fear, you know?
Yeah.
Gross.
I know, gross.
Gross.
Ew.
Speaking of something that's it could be a little gross, but important to women in particular.
It's natural.
What are we going on?
Natural.
Are we going on the
Natural.
tampon
Yes,
tax?
we are.
Are we
Yeah.
segueing into the
Segue?
tampon tax?
Gross.
Wow,
We're
someone's
gross
gonna get
too.
heated right
Men
now.
are gross and we're gross.
Everyone's gross. Humans are gross.
I mean,
Yeah.
bodies are gross.
Humans
Oh,
are
it's
destroying
not
the planet.
bad.
Anyways. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Dude, don't even worry. I didn't feel a single thing.
I don't know how to sit comfortably. My leg fell asleep. Anywho,
Anyway.
so we're going to talk about the tampon tax because
Yeah.
that's absurd.
The whole idea of taxing feminine
I
products
can't do this.
typically used for periods, like tampons and
I'm so
sanitary
good.
napkins or pads. Oh, you're good.
This is a mess. 2 seconds out of our podcast are going to be a mess. I'm sorry.
It's all good. There is an article on the Washington Post talking about it, saying, direct quote, how women in California pay about $7 per month for 40 years of tampons and sanitary napkins, aka pads. Statewide, it adds up over $20 million annually in taxes, which is insane.
a lot.
How do you feel about this?
That's an absurd amount of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of freaking money.
I think the main argument for this whole thing, and like the reason why people are getting upset, for anyone who doesn't understand why people are getting upset, is the fact that these things that are natural things that happen to a woman are being taxed as a luxury.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense to anybody. I don't know who
The
thinks
luxury
that their
tax. Oh, sorry.
like period is a luxury.
Yeah.
Like not.
The luxury
yeah.
tax in this country is used for things like expensive, like, reiterating, luxurious things like jewelry or cars and stuff like that. And I don't think menstruating is very luxurious. And that's not an opinion. It's kind of a fact. Your body's going through so much in a menstrual cycle, and you're paying so much as if you were buying yourself a nice diamond ring. Let me tell y'all, it does not feel like a diamond ring.
Yeah.
A pad doesn't even look anywhere near a diamond ring.
Oh my god, a pad is so uncomfortable.
I wish it was sparkly. No, that'd be bad.
Glittering your vagina.
I feel like another one of the reasons that people, like, women are so, like, angry or just, like, wanting this to be, like, taken care of is because, like, the laws that are being created by men.
Mhm.
People with
Exactly.
humans without uteruses are making laws for people with uteruses. And it's
Yeah.
like,
It doesn't.
why? Why are you allowed to do that? You
Yeah.
shouldn't. You don't have a uterus.
And
Oh.
there's also, and I just thought to a personal experience of mine, there's also a very negative stigma towards periods,
Mhm.
like in general. It's because, my relatives, like, I'm Indian, and then I grew up in a pretty liberal household. It was fine, like, periods were normal, but I have cousins who grew up in very conservative households, and back then my aunts and my grandma, like, they all had to live with that stigma of periods. And then usually what they would do, they weren't allowed to go to the temple when they were on their period because they're considered not clean, dirty, and it's not good to approach God that way. And then also they would put I'll take my aunt, for example. They would put her, like, in a separate room, just isolating her from everyone in the house, like, when she's on her period, and they would just come up and give her food. She was just stuck in that room for the entire time. And I think, like, now that the world is changing, there has to be something done. Like, pads and tampons,
Need
you
to be
need
accessible.
them. They need to be accessible.
Yeah.
It's just definitely.
Ridiculous.
I'd like to add that Viagra medication is covered under health insurance. And I know the solution to this problem with the tampon tax isn't going to be putting it under health insurance because it's way too complicated and it's too much money. But just taking away the tax would be more than enough.
Yeah.
It's really all we ask for because there's something you can control and there's some things that you can't.
Yeah.
You can't control your menstrual cycle. You can't help it. Like, you can't control you're going to the restroom to go, like, pee or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that happens to a lot of cisgendered women who need it. But then erectile dysfunction is something is so minuscule compared to this, yet it's covered under health insurance. Like it's going to benefit men, so they want to make it as easy to get it for men. But then women need this stuff. And, you know, like, I've been through times where I can't even afford to buy a pack of, like, pads or tampons or anything because they're so taxed. And, like, they're, say, $4.99, like, on the thing, and then you go to pay and it's, like, $7 or $8. It's almost double, and it's, oh, my God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's insane. See, now I wonder, like, what would happen if a woman were to come into power and then say, like, hey, Viagra? Nah.
They
Not
would
under
lose their
healthcare
minds.
anymore. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
They would lose their shit, like, to be more precise.
It's also, like, it's, like, not every single male goes through erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
So it's, like, and Viagra's just, like, covered, but
Right.
every single, like, I'm pretty sure, I'm not a scientist or anything, but I'm pretty sure every woman goes through her period.
Every
Or,
female body.
every female body.
Everyone
like,
with a uterus.
Yeah.
Right.
goes through a period. So it's like, why aren't we, why are we being taxed as a luxury for a bodily dysfunction that happens to us without our control? It's not like we're like, hey, we want to bleed for a week and we want, no.
choice.
Yeah, I
I
want
wanna
my
do this.
entire lower body to
I
be in
chose.
pain
Yeah.
severely for 2 weeks.
Right.
Like,
Being taxed because of our gender.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the quote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
We're being
paying.
taxed
We're
for-
paying for being a woman.
Yeah.
Is what someone in the Washington Post article said,
Mm-hmm.
which is true in terms of this context, and it's also absolutely ridiculous. Imagine paying for being anything. It doesn't make any sense.
imagine paying for being alive.
Basically.
Life.
I don't know, alive. Or paying to die.
We're being taxed to be perfect women.
Yeah.
And we're not. And that brings us into our next topic.
Whoa.
Hey.
Body
Segue.
positivity.
Yay.
So
I
I'm
was trying
gonna
to make fun
play
of
a little segment of
Little snippet.
a little piece of
movie.
a Lane Bryant campaign from 2016. There's a couple celebrities in there you guys might recognize, like Ashley Graham and a couple other ones. and they're reading comments that were left on their social media and stuff. So I feel like it's really empowering for us to see that even celebrities are being body shamed and just like brought down in like their own daily aspects of life.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope I
No
never
fat woman
let my
should know
daughter be celebrated their way. Big is not always beautiful. Have you lost your mind? It is always beautiful. Show off that beautiful body. Slay, sister, slay. Slaying all day. Fierceness on fleek. You're one sexy mama. You trying to be my baby? This body is made to shine through. Nobody can stop our shine.
This video made me so happy.
I
know.
know.
They're all
So-
so
Makes me so
lovely.
happy.
They're lovely humans.
I didn't play the part of the video where one of the models on there is like, there's a comment under one of her, I'm not sure which like social media, but it like basically says like, oh, she wouldn't be where she is if it wasn't for her dad's money. And her response to that was, yeah, but I got all of this for my mama. Like basically saying that like trying to shut down the stigma of that men are the reason that women come up, but it's like us women are the reason that women are striving. And also there's Ashley Graham, who's like a body positive person. Like she's written books, and she's like, I think has done like a lot of articles, and right now I think she got like the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the comments that was in the campaign was like, oh, you ruined Sports Illustrated. And a lot of those comments were like, because like people are like, oh, like you guys are praising obesity and you guys shouldn't, because it's a disease and people are gonna die, and if you're fat you need to lose weight. And it's like, not all big people are ill. Like Ashley Graham literally she works out every single day. Like if you go on her Instagram, like you see her workouts, she eats healthy, like, and it's just like, people who are thin sometimes are like the ones that suffer with like diseases and stuff, and they get shamed too. And it's just like we kind of have to step away from that and just kind of like support each other no matter what, and just kind of like, so I just want to know what you guys like thought about all of that. Like,
Yeah. I think this whole thing is super important because it's like that whole idea of telling these people that they're obese and telling them that they're sick just because they have more just because they're bigger bodied is ridiculous, because everyone's built differently. You can't tell someone like with Ashley Graham, is that who it is?
Ashley Graham.
Like, you can work out, some people can work out every single day, eat only grass. It's like, it doesn't matter. They're still going to have, like, being bigger boned is a thing. Having a low metabolism is a thing. It's like, it doesn't mean that they're unhealthy, and you shouldn't look at someone that way. Just like someone who is skinnier doesn't mean that they're unhealthy just because they're skinny, or doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, they're so healthy because they're skinny. It doesn't make any sense, because some people have really high metabolisms and some people are really thin-boned, it's like, it's all biological at that point. You can't tell someone to change the structure of their body.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that. Like, I've always gotten comments that, like, oh, you're so skinny, you need to eat more and stuff, but,
I hate it.
like, and they think I'm so healthy and so fit, but, like, no, I have problems, too. Like, I'm anemic, like, I have bad eyesight. There's just it doesn't, like, mean anything, really. Like, it's all about your body.
Like, you can, like, honestly, like, I can say, like, for me, too, like, I'm a bigger girl, like, I'm not thin, and, like, when I was younger, it was a lot of, like, you need to, like, stop eating, like, the stuff that you eat, and it's like, you don't know what I eat. I eat vegetables every day, I rarely eat junk food, and I work out every day, but I'm just a bigger girl, like, like, it doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
I'm healthy, like, I'm not obese, I don't have, like, diabetes or high cholesterol or anything, so it's like, you can't say that bigger people are ill. It's just like, you can't really prove it. Just stop judging books by their covers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have to say, I do not eat healthy at all.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone always tells me, they're like, you look so skinny. I'm like, dude, I'm eating junk food every day.
Same.
Like, I don't
Same.
get half
It's
the
like,
things that I
okay.
need.
That goes along with, like, that's kind of just a side comment. Like, we're just in college. We don't, like,
Yeah.
we don't have resources
Exactly.
to be, like, you know, eating healthy every day because
A
that's
3-course
expensive, first of
meal.
all. But, like, also, we're always stressed and tired, and that doesn't help us. So, like, honestly, everyone will look different, but we're all on the same
Right.
level of, like,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
stress.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like,
yeah.
saying that there's an ideal body type or saying that there's an ideal human, like,
It's
looking
damaging.
at someone and saying, like, you're perfect is terrible. Because it's like,
Yeah.
I'm never
No
going to
one
look
is
like half those
perfect.
people. Exactly.
It makes,
I can't
it makes
make me
anyone
taller.
insecure, really. Like, it'll be offensive if you tell anyone anything about their body, like, commenting on it and being like, I wish I looked like that. Like,
Right.
I used to say that to my roommate because my roommate's thinner and she has, like, a really nice body, and so I'd be like, oh my god, I wish I looked like you. And then she started telling me, like, that makes me feel bad because I'm not healthy. I eat junk food and I don't work out, and it makes me feel like there's more that I should be doing to, like, fit what you think is, like, pretty because you think I'm pretty.
Yeah.
And so I was, like, starting to think, like, anything you really say about someone's body affects them negatively, and it's, like, you're supposed to be uplifting each other as opposed to judging, like, especially us, like, women just in general, because we're brought down by men already. We might as well, you know, do the opposite for each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, yeah, also, like, with men, I think, like, they also face similar, like, body shaming as well, too, in the ads that they play.
Like, the commercials that are, like, structured for women are made differently than for men. Like, deodorant commercials for men, or, like, have you seen what is his name? Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
They're ridiculous. It's like, they have him, like, moving his chest, you know, and then, like, and then they
So
put, like, the other
unnecessary.
ones where it's like, you know, you spritz your cologne, and then suddenly there's 10 women around you.
Oh,
And it's like, if you buy this, you're gonna attract all the ladies. Like, I don't know about you, but a scent isn't really gonna attract me to anyone.
It's going to repel me.
That's not how it works. But, you know, it'll make guys think a certain way because now men are supposed to be, like, this muscular, huge, masculine dude, like, and a lot of guys aren't.
Right.
And it's perfectly fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And it goes
And-
back to the structure of your body. It's
Yeah.
like they're going to be built differently. Not every
Yeah.
man has huge, broad shoulders. Not every man can put on the same kind of muscle that other men do. It's
Yeah.
like seeing people get all the muscle milk and, like, all the protein shakes and, like, man, I gotta get buff. It's like,
Yeah.
it's damaging. It's just
Yeah.
as damaging.
Yeah.
It's terrible because then I look at the people who are, like, in wrestling and, like, making weight and, like, spitting into cups and, like, not eating anything just so that they can, like, have so little body fat. And, like, it's unhealthy, just as unhealthy as it is for women
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
who go through the same kind of, well, different, but, you know, similar kinds of
Yeah.
body image
I
problems.
feel like it's just a matter of, like, not being like, like, wow, you look good, like, you look so healthy. Just like, you look beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're
All about
beautiful.
supporting
Yeah,
you.
like it's you're beautiful. Like, it's not like, wow, like, you look good, like, you're looking like, wow, like, you have the perfect body, but no, you're beautiful. Start
That's
like
it.
bringing up people. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, don't
Don't comment
Point,
about
yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
If you
No
want to compliment
comparisons.
someone, just compliment them.
Yeah.
Because those statements, like, make them want to live up to that.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
can be potentially damaging or
Right.
threatening.
Yeah.
I think it's specifically the comparisons, like comparing someone to not even just a specific person, but comparing someone to the ideal
Yeah.
is ridiculous too. Because first
Yeah.
of all, there shouldn't be an ideal.
There
You
shouldn't
can
be
have
an
your own
ideal.
personal opinion, but there shouldn't be an overall ideal man, ideal woman, ideal,
Yeah.
because not even anyone
Yeah.
fits to that same binary. Just let you know, it's not even
Yeah.
a thing. Binary is not a thing, but whatever.
So we
Mhm.
should definitely just bring each other up, stay positive,
Yeah.
empower each other,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
women,
Be
empower
kind.
each
Yes.
other.
Yeah.
Men, do it too.
Yeah,
Empower each
empower-
other, but
and
also
everyone
empower
else.
women.
Yeah.
Like,
Remember to keep
can.
everyone's emotions into consideration.
yeah,
Be considerate. Be kind. You can do it. It's really not that
It's
hard.
not.
If anything,
It's
it's
so
going to make
easy
you
to be
feel
nice.
better.
yeah,
Because then, like, guess what? They're probably going to be happier and they're probably going to treat you a little kinder too.
yep,
Yes. Little
Yay.
kindness goes a long way.
yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Seeing someone smile is nice.
Yeah. You know, little things.
So we hope this has been really helpful for all of you.
Hope you guys found some kind of insight on this, whether you agreed or not.
Yeah. Hope you learned something, and if like there's anything on here that like you didn't know before, like we're glad, like, you know, I guess like you learn something new every day, basically.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening and helping us succeed in college, man.
Good luck on the
Good
finals.
luck on finals, everybody.